All right, I wasn't done. I left the house like so unsettled and just kind of mad. And I'm headed to the gym, but I haven't made it there yet because I haven't let out the rest of the stuff that I've been thinking about. I've been wondering like what to do as far as this. I consider my YouTube videos to be my video journal. Like, this is honestly what I would write down in a journal if I took the time to write every day, which I don't. But I record the day-to-day stuff with my kids, and then I like record these monologues where I'm like just voicing my thoughts. And sometimes I'm like, should I keep some of it in a box? Should I tone some of it down? Should I just say exactly what I think? And I'm not quite sure what I want to do in that way. But like, maybe I'll delete this. I just try to like give myself a little exit. Like, maybe I'll delete this. Maybe I won't share this one. But if I do share it, I just have to go off the basis that I'm going to delete this because I don't have the guts to say it if I think I'm putting this on YouTube. Okay, so there's so much that I really hate about religion. And somebody wrote a comment on my YouTube channel like a few weeks ago and said like, it would be better if there were no religions. And part of my reply was like, yeah, I kind of agree with you, but that's not gonna happen. Like, but I've just thought about that so much. Like, I really do. I have always thought that it would be nice if you could just take out the religious aspect of the world and just kind of let it be based on people's conscience. But some people don't have a conscience unless they have religion. And some people use religion as their moral basis, and they have no morality, no morals if they don't have religion, which I don't get, but I've seen that happens sometimes. And even if all that doesn't pan out to be true, that distracted me. Even if that doesn't all turn out to be true, what was I gonna say? Religion's not going away. So no matter what, even if that's not a true answer, religion's not gonna disappear overnight. Like, the millions of people who believe in different religions aren't gonna just stop believing. They're not gonna just go away. So we have to deal with what we have, which are these religions that are polluted with bad ideas and bad motives, and try to find the good in it. And I feel like I was put where I am for a reason. I feel like I can reach people in the church I was born into because I was born into it, and I know it, and I have experiences with it as a church. I know the lingo, I know the jargon, I know the people. I have read thousands of hours about my religion, other religions, other teachings. And I was even atheist for quite some time. During those thousands of hours, I ended up with a belief in God, and I do believe strongly that there is a God. And this is really rambling and very like disjointed, but I'm just gonna keep going with it. I'm gonna get my thoughts out because these have been rolling in my head for a while now. So because of the religion I was born into, I ended up with a lot of struggle, a lot of questions and disagreements personally, and I ended up with a belief in God, which is great because that has helped me a lot. And I still use my relationship with God to guide me in every aspect of my life, and that's why I hang on to that part that I have. I don't know how I would have found that relationship with God without religion. If I wasn't born into a family that attended a certain religion, maybe I would have found it another way. I think I probably would have, but I don't have the answer because that didn't happen that way. It happened the way it happened. I was born into a church, into a religious community. I finally got a belief in God after lots of work. And I value that relationship with God very highly. I was thinking that I should share the last few things that I feel like God has told me. So when I started going, or when I finished counseling in December of last year, I got a lot of clarity. Like, I got a lot of closure with the doubts and fears I had about speaking up, speaking out. Like, I was hanging on to a lot of people's reactions. Like, I was worried how people would, I was worried that people would feel bad if I had opinions or beliefs or thoughts that contradicted what they believed or thought or felt. And so I didn't want to share my thoughts or beliefs or feelings because I didn't want anyone to be negatively affected because of me. So I wanted to keep myself quiet, and I didn't want to rock the boat, shake anyone up, worry anybody. And so I stayed pretty quiet. But at the end of counseling, I realized I'm not in charge of people's reactions and feelings and emotions. I'm in charge of me. And all I can do is be authentic and genuine and be myself. And however people react or respond is on them. I am a good person. I try to be a good person. I try to do what I think is right. I don't have a universal, this is right for everyone. I don't have that knowledge, but I know what I feel, and I do what I feel because I feel that that's right. So the last few things that I've felt, this is really hard to talk about. So when I was doing counseling, I got the feeling like when I was praying and talking to God about stuff, I just got the feeling like I was supposed to go and speak up at church. And I don't like going to church. I didn't go to church very much last year in 2017. The whole year I didn't really go. I probably went like 10 times maybe in a year. That's just a guess. I have no clue how many times I went. And I never went to the whole block of church. I just went to portions. But at the end of that year after counseling, I had the feeling that I should go and be a voice. And when I was talking to God, I was like, well, I don't want to be a voice. I don't want to speak up. I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to be a missionary on the other side. Like, when I was a missionary, I was so like, do this, do this, do this, do this. This is the right way. You got to be like me. Come on, listen to me. And now that I've like changed and opened up, I'm like, I don't want to be like that anymore. I don't want to like convince people to do what I do because I don't know if what I'm doing is right. I'm just trying to figure it out as I go, and I know I may mess up. But generally, I feel really good about where I'm at. But I don't want to preach that as the one true way. And as I was explaining that to God, I got the feeling that, and when I say God, I kind of feel like there's a Heavenly Father and Heavenly Mother, like parents, two of them. And I just say God because I don't really know, but God to me is both a man and a woman, female and a male. And I feel like God said back to me, don't worry about being right, just be a voice. And I was like, okay, I can be a voice. I don't like speaking up. I don't like getting attention on me, which is so funny because I put myself on YouTube, but it's not interacting with somebody, it's me interacting with a camera. And then that camera goes onto YouTube. And I know people see it, but I don't see them see it. Like, I don't watch them watch it. So it doesn't feel like I'm in public. It feels like I'm in my car by the river talking to my camera in the dark, which is what I'm doing. And then I have to tell myself I'm going to delete this video so that I can get myself to think past the like, what if someone watches this? And just think, I'm going to delete it anyway. Here's my thoughts on God, which is terrifying. Why would I say that in real life to somebody? That's so scary. But anyway, I feel like God told me that I should be a voice. And I felt like they said to me, don't worry about being the only voice or the right voice or the true, correct voice. Just worry about being a voice. And I was like, okay, that's not too bad. So I started going back to church with my husband and my kids and just speaking up in church a few times, like when I would hear something that I disagreed with or when I felt like something was missing or lacking, I would just raise my hand and kind of say that thing. And it's been fine. Like, it's not been like life-changing. There's a lot I still disagree with, and there's a lot that makes my blood boil. but it doesn't hurt me to speak up and say stuff sometimes. And I've fought that a few times, like, does God really want me to do that, or is that me convincing myself? But I'm still working on that. I'm still figuring that out. So that's one thing that God has answered me lately. Another thing, Cody and I have been doing the family planning thing, trying to figure out what number of kids and how far in between and all that. And we were thinking for the last couple months, like, okay, probably 4 kids. And then one day I was at home. I don't even remember what I was doing. I don't know if I was like thinking or praying or what I was doing, but I felt like God spoke to me again and said, you're only gonna have 1 more. I was like, what? And I felt like that was like 1 more kid or 1 more pregnancy or something. Like 1 more kid or 1 more pregnancy. I'll explain that later, because that's when I went into the bargaining. Like, if I'm only gonna have 1 more pregnancy, can I at least have twins? This is a later time, so this is like days after that first answer. The first one I had to grapple with, like, what? Like, I want 4, I'm only gonna have 3? I'm so disjointed. Anyway, I was like, I'm only gonna have 3? I like got really sad, like, but I was always thinking I was gonna have 4 kids. And then I asked God, like, why would I only have 3? And they said, so that you can focus on your career and your kids. And I was like, I don't even have a career. But that is a passion of mine. That is something I've been really figuring out lately. And there was another part to that answer, but I can't quite remember what it was right now. But basically, I'm gonna have 1 more kid / pregnancy, and then I'm gonna focus on my kids that I have and my career, wherever that takes me. And that's gonna suit my lifestyle better, apparently. So over the next few days after that, I kind of mulled it over, and then I kept thinking, like, 1 more, what is, like, 1 more kid? And then, so I was praying another day, and I was like, so if it's 1 more pregnancy, could you, like, give me twins? Like, I had twins already, and they died. And I don't know if they were fraternal or identical, because fraternal twins run on my side of the family, and identical twins are just, like, it just happens to whoever. So I don't know which kind of twins I had, but I was praying to God, and I was like, well, I already had twins, like, could you just give me twins again? Like, then I'll end up with 4 kids, and I only have to have 3 pregnancies, and it doesn't change, like, any of that other stuff. And the answer I got from God was, well, it was like, let's see what happens with biology, or something like that. Like, let's see what biology does. Something about biology. And I was like, what? And my first reaction was like, God is leaving it up to biology? Like, can't I just, like, throw a wish out there and God be like, okay, you can have twins, that's fine. But instead it was like, let's see what biology does. And I was like, so how much does God rely on biology? Like, how much of it is like, I prayed for this child and I got this child, like you can read about in the Old Testament? And how much of it is like, well, my biology makes me very fertile. Here's my kids, got a bunch of them. How much of it is God wants this child in this family? And how much of it is just, this person's fertile, this person got pregnant? Like, how much of it is like God placing a child in a family? So it's given me lots of things to think about. Let's just see what biology does. Like, okay. I find that very interesting. I still have a lot to think about. Like, just the fact that God would reference biology as an answer to my prayer. I don't typically talk about answers to prayer. I find this really odd. Like, I talk about it with my husband, but I'm never gonna go talk to my friend and be like, guess what God told me? Like, that's, like, not a typical thing I would do. But I feel like, as part of my journal and being authentic and being transparent and being real, I feel like that's just part of my story, and maybe I'll try sharing this part and see how that goes for me. Maybe I'll regret it and delete it, and maybe I won't. I don't know. I do feel much better after letting that out, though. Those were 3 of my answers that I got. I feel like there was another recent one that I was going to mention, but I can't think of it, so I guess it wasn't meant to be.